Excuse you?
Yes.
Friend? Not you.
No,
Could I... You're lucky this is a good game, because if this one wasn't set up to be good, I'd be causing issues.
I'm sure you would.
Luckily,
Yes.
this is a massive game for both of these teams. NYYRIKKI, MNM, Molotovs and Marshmallows.
Yeah, that's what that stands for, Will.
It is.
Carry on. There's nothing else to add. All right, nice.
No, you didn't need to. I was doing my whole opening monologue thing.
Continue. Don't let me
So,
interrupt.
MNM and NYYRIKKI, these two teams towards the bottom of the standings right now. Both teams that were down at the bottom of the standings last split as well. However, I think it's fair to say that both of these teams have looked much brighter coming into this season, even though the scorelines might not suggest it.
I think specifically for NYYRIKKI, that's true. I think MNM have had moments to shine where they look like they could be a team that, you know, is maybe contesting like 5th, 6th.
Which is better than what they've done historically.
Yeah. The NLC has not been their friend since they've been here, since we had the whole shift over to this format. But we'll see how they do today. I think they have themselves a decent shot with the tools that they have given themselves. I'm particularly excited to see Shredder back on an aggressive support pick. That is the most crucial thing to me. Seeing Shredder on something that wants to get around the map and start fights as frequently as possible. That was when MNM looked the most threatening by far. And I feel like this is potentially something that NYYRIKKI are going to have to track and ensure that they keep tabs of to ensure that MNM don't get themselves enabled by their support player.
Especially when you've got a slightly less mobile mid laner against someone like Chimera on the Ahri, who's going to be able to grab that charm, grab that engage, just do a lot of work. Taking a bit of poke, there needs to be careful. However, we've got some social media. Make sure that you're interacting with us over there, as we've got some tweets to show you. As a little bit of poke coming through. We're nothing too major. We're doing the same thing as we were doing yesterday with the drafts. And of course, you were on the desk yesterday doing your own draft. Jamala, break this one down for us. What are you thinking of it? Kreis, Stefan, Senkuk, Satilla, and Stend.
Not bad. I quite like this one. I would have maybe chucked Tempt into the mid lane. I think you'd have yourself...
Well, then you can't have Attila.
Oh yeah, then you can't have Attila. I didn't notice that. Good draft though. Do like it. I would maybe do something like...
Well, you did something yesterday.
Yeah, I did do something.
You did like...
It was pretty good.
That was the whole
concept. But the problem was Gulborg was you know, kind of trolling with his a little bit.
Well, lol, Velika. Good stuff. Nice little draft. We'll bring you on. Well, we've got a couple more that we can show you later on. So if you want to get involved, make sure to be just throwing that on social media, on our Twitter, or on your Twitter with the right hashtag, and we'll get to you. And you might even appear on the broadcast. Jamada will be breaking down all of those compositions. A lot of them on Monday were very, very good. Singularity didn't really get the assignment, but everyone else was doing well.
Everyone else was doing very well. Bringing it back to the game, though. What do we see from our junglers? Started on opposite sides, it seems. Soft actually going maybe for an aggressive play, maybe some information at hand. Did miss out on both his bottom lane or bottom side camps for now. Just kind of hovering around on the opposite side. Flipper, 5 camps into the Skull Crab, likely just to retreat back to the Grump. A lot of information already provided. And actually, it just seems like this one I was talking about. Shredder being able to move from the bottom lane. And like you said, pick on the mobile mid laner like the Swain. Definitely a big point of contention potentially for NYYRIKKI to look to stand up to. But I think Swain actually is a pick we haven't seen too much in the NLC. It's something that's propped up a lot, in particular in the LPL, as a near consistent pick.
We did see it a little bit more on Monday. I believe we saw it twice on Monday.
Yeah.
So it might just be a case of our teams, as we talked about, they started on the last patch, so things were a bit different.
Less time in general to practice.
There's much less time to practice and develop the patch, and with Tier 1 regions coming back, of course, NEC back this weekend, teams will be able to look a little bit more at what the very highest level of play is doing. But it'll be interesting to see what this Swain builds, because we've seen a lot of the Imperial Mandate going around in this league.
Loads of builds with Swain. I think that's the spooky thing when it comes to this champion. Imperial Mandate into Rayla is really cheap. An efficient 2-item power spike. You see things like the Leandries coming into a more traditional mage build. Sometimes Zhonya's will follow, but also some of the more oppressive builds I find are things like Leandries into like Frozen Heart or Force of Nature, where you have a bunch of haste or a bunch of resistance to magic damage, and you just kind of become unkillable. Drain healing off of the ultimates, but we'll see what Eero wants to do. I expect, given the fact that both his side lanes, Banderas, Azator on the Gwen and the Aphelios respectively, have champions that kind of hit, you know, those sort of critical mass points 2 items onwards, I expect to see a slightly cheaper build come out of him, but we'll see and ensure that we keep tabs on it. MNM on the opposite side, though, no slouches in the scaling department either.
No.
But I feel like it's definitely going to be a difficult thing to navigate. I feel most people would maybe have NYYRIKKI down as the stronger team fighting composition with the Jarvan, with the Swain, a lot more zoning tools to allow Azator to do his thing. And I feel like MNM, you know, as a composition, probably looking to mostly be the aggressor, but I think when you see Nautilus and Jarvan on the opposite side, maybe you want to sort of take a foot back in that regard. And honestly, I don't think their composition does too terribly at dealing with that either. I just feel like Mishigu might have a bit of a hard time surviving as an individual, and that's where MNM as a team will have to play into trying to keep their AD carry alive. But what isn't staying alive is this Dragon. Bottom side priority, mid lane priority just turns into an easy take for the Molotovs and Marshmallows. Other way around, Marshmallows, Molotovs. But pick up their first Dragon of the game.
Wait, is it Marshmallows first?
Pretty sure it's... Is it?
I think it's
I was on this team.
I'm pretty sure it's Molotovs and Marshmallows.
Yeah, no, I said it right the first time. Don't know why I don't
think. But you're the one who was on the team, so now you're making me question.
Moving swiftly on.
You're a bad fan.
Padex players. Flipper's going to find Calum here, but it was actually Soft finding Era in the mid lane. This could just turn into an outright skirmish.
Is the one who's aggressing. You've got to imagine Era's on the side. They're looking to catch someone out. We'll be able to do so, but MNM are diving forward aggressively. They've got good target acquisition, and they'll acquire first blood as well.
Absolute stellar stuff from Chimera to just get that flash charm in. As soon as that Spectral Maw lands, no hesitation to ensure they try and lock down the Gwen. And it's just members moving first from MNM's side. Era also had to blow his flash, and Banderas had no flash to get off that chain CC, unfortunately. Positive start for MNM. They get the Dragon, they get the first blood on the top side of the map, but what else can they turn it into? Soft has to help Chimera crash this wave in the mid lane to ensure that he gets a decent back. We'll get to see how this all started, and it seems like it was from the mid lane as well. Soft trying to catch out the Swain, but on the top side, Calum rotates down. Flipper kind of catches him out as he exits the jungle. Flipper's allowed to go over the wall, but you can see Spectral Maw. Chimera just catches that immediately. The bar is so close to being finished off. If he had flash, he still would have been able to have gotten out of that chain CC. And that first blood goes into Calum's hands, which honestly, considering a little bit farther down behind in the CS department, and also the fact that Camille wants to be, you know, mostly a side lane threat, I would imagine, in this game. Pretty happy to take that one up, as that side lane matchup into the Gwen can be hairy at most times.
That being said, though, we talked about the team fighter composition, NYYRIKKI maybe being a little bit stronger. Is Camille not one of the better options for backline access if you want to jump onto Azator?
Absolutely, yeah, no. Being able to hookshot from, you know, weird angles into just kind of being invulnerable for a moment, locking down and knocking away the rest of the team with the Hextech Ultimatum is so crucial.
I mean, when you're flanking already, because you look at the likes of Viego, you don't necessarily have that traditional engage. Of course, the Leona, the Ari are going to be able to do that for you in spades, but if you've got these two champions looking for different flanks, we saw it in the last game actually with the Wukong diving on forward and getting those weird engages from the side. There's a lot of damage going down onto Chimera. He's been caught out. The ultimate's not going to be able to save him. It's on cooldown, and Eero secures that one.
Yeah, just great chain CC. Abignale flashes forward, and after that, there is no escaping at all. Great rotation comes out from the NYYRIKKI bottom side. You have to imagine should have been tracked or called out somehow by MNM, but off the back of that, NYYRIKKI will take the Herald, it seems like, though Soft is in the area, but I just feel like there's no way to feasibly contest it. And unfortunately, it means Herald will go down, and NYYRIKKI positively will hopefully be able to use this for themselves to try and get back some of the gold that they lost from the first blood play as well. But they're actually up 500 now.
Yeah, they are there, finding themselves a small lead. Of course, there's plenty of gold still on the map. Plates are going to be up for another 5 minutes, so both teams are going to be trying to make moves on those ones, including Mishigu in the bot side alongside Shredder. Maybe I'll take their first one. They're looking for a dive on Astor, going to be caught out, but the minion takes the zap, which could be huge, and Shredder goes down.
Big question mark from me. Now Soft is here. He will clean it up, but he's dead.
He...
Oh, that's golden.
So, Soft, okay, someone on MNM needs to be communicating there, because Soft was clearly like, I'm at peace with this. And then Mishigu was like, well, I have heal. This is going to...
Soft just opened his arms and said, take me great beyond.
And then Mishigu just rugby tackles him out of tower range.
But we have to say, this dive though, yeah, Shredder, just a little bit too early. You have Soft coming down, but I think what makes this play be rushed is the fact that Azatol takes the wave so quickly that I think it just panics Shredder into wanting to take this. Otherwise, maybe they're thinking the play takes a little bit too long to pull off. But this is just great. He just stands so he's like, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm probably dead. Levels up and gets the heal, and that's what keeps him alive.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Yes, I can't imagine the comms off the back.
I like think it's just silence. Dead silence.
I hope it was. But MNM, they get their dive off. But the thing is, Azatol probably not feeling too sore about that because he got the massive wave beforehand anyway. So it's not like he felt a massive margin behind. In fact, he's still equal in XP to Mishgu as Kalem gets forced out. But this is what I was talking about. This matchup up in the top side, it can be a bit of a perilous one. As Flipper...
His ultimate available is maybe looking towards Kalem. Will be able to get the connections, but the ultimate is away. Flipper slowed down, take it out. Kalem with the fancy feet, or the fancy knife legs.
That's just bold. Bold from Flipper, honestly, because realistically, he should know Kalem has the ultimate, and if he doesn't land the flag and drag knock-up to try and chain the ultimate in for the burst damage, he's not going to find the execute. No way. And I think even at best, that is probably a 1-for-1 at most times. And now that means there is no real effective cross-map for NYYRIKKI, and MNM are going to pick up this dragon, not just for free, but actually at a surplus.
And that is going to be very, very disastrous. We've seen so often in these tournaments so far in the NLC, the idea that you make those aggressive plays early, one team does that, the other team gets something on the other side of the map, whether that be a plate, whether that be a dragon is very, very common to see, as we have seen our Soul will be Infernal. But if you're making the play and it goes wrong, you lose out.
He was coming back up for round 2. But Chimera was rotating up towards the top side, and I think the fact that there was Fog of War from the mid laner just dissuaded Flipper from returning back to the top side, as I think the wave additionally was dying on top of that. But Abignale, he's back for round 2, but he is likely just going to finish up the channel on the recall. That will indeed happen. We have Infernal Soul.
Well, we don't.
Rift.
In fact, no one does at the moment, because there's only been 2 dragons taken. You need 4 dragons for a sword.
We have Infernal Rift and
we
Dragon spawning in 4 minutes, and then Soul spawning in around 10, probably, if I had to guess. Depending on if MNM take the...
Wait, what time is that going to be? 22?
Yeah, you're writing this down, okay.
22 minutes, Soul point, yeah?
Yeah, we'll see. It just depends on how MNM want to play, and whether or not NYYRIKKI can find themselves back some agency into the game. Definitely have the tools to do it, right? Spoke about it on the desk, the Jarvan, the Nautilus. Very strong tools, and again, if Eero can find his way back.
Rifthold has been dropped. They weren't able to stop him, and they might be able to catch Banderas on the side. Takes a bit of a beating, but doesn't go down. Soft's looking to take down the Eye and stop the charge, but I think it will go through regardless as NYYRIKKI step forward to collect the gold. That's 2 plates going over to them, as they'll be able to get away.
Yeah, Soft's W there, Spectrum Wall, was actually caught by a creep, and I think if they got that initial part of a CC down onto Banderas, they may have attempted to try and get something going. But the Herald Charge comes down, and they do at the very least get the gold. NYYRIKKI has flash forward. Abignale finds Mishigu.
I think he's just going to be very, very dead. Rooted up. The damage is there, but you know what? The Chompers do lots of work.
Durability patch. It's great as Chimera looking for the 1v1. Flipper's on the opposite side though.
Healing, he goes over the wall, but Chimera's able just to slide away. Era's going to follow through with the flash, but doesn't manage to catch him. A lot of resources burnt both sides, but no one falls. Yeah,
no one falls. If Flipper isn't there, I think Chimera maybe wins that 1v1, but Era still had the flash as well to get away, so I feel like probably neutralizes that one out. Flipper able to burn Chimera's flash, and now just a little bit less safety inside of Ari's kit. No flash, of course, as well for the next dragon in the next couple of minutes that I imagine will play a pivotal part in how the pressure of this game goes. Have to start tracking items in the next minute or so, as Aero has the Liandry's Anguish. So I'm expecting probably more of a traditional mage build. We'll see whether or not we get something like, the Frozen Heart or more tanky items as opposed to a Zonya's second.
I mean, could we even see something like the Rylai's on this one as well? Demonic Embrace?
Yeah, it's still very possible, right? Demonic Embrace is second item, double sort of max HP items.
Of course, playing Malzahar.
Yeah, basically playing Malzahar at that point. But yeah, on the opposite side,
yes,
Chimera has that Ludens finished up and double Divine Thunder on the top side. It's just the AD carries who haven't really finished up their mythics just yet. Maybe still have time as Banderas gets locked down.
Gonna be caught up in the ultimatum, and the support coming through from Viega, getting onto Banderas. He's stunned up. Will be able to dance away. The Soft moving forward, trying for the kill. Will be able to secure it, and this time he gets away because the tower changes aggro, and both MNM players get out of dodge.
They get out of dodge. They get the pick, but what is the response going to be from NYYRIKKI? Because you can already see Abagnale is in the jungle of MNM, clearing away vision. Mishigu heavily respecting the potential of a dive. How big is this wave? Pan down a little bit. As Mishigu is still respecting, but starts to walk up now. Shredder starting to walk forward, but as a Tor.
This one, the mini-wave's already been finned. Teleport is coming on down. I think NYYRIKKI might have overstayed there. Welcome, Shredder flashing forward, looking for something. Will be able to land the ultimate. It's stunned onto the in-transit Nautilus, and he is dead. Aztor will be able to march away, but again, NYYRIKKI just making mistakes that, from what we've seen from them recently, they shouldn't be making.
Yeah, definitely not. And I mean, MNM, as a team, I think if there's one of the few positive things that we can say, their early games have been serviceable when they have agency tools.
This is true.
So I think, for now, this is a bit of a situation of MNM playing to some of their strengths as a team, and we're going to have to more accurately track them in the later stages of the game when they actually have to play as a full 5 unit. Whether it's on the map or in team fight specifically. But for now, NYYRIKKI definitely suffering a little bit to some of those plays. It feels like haven't been able to more consistently execute on some of those that they've been looking for. But this Dragon spawns up in 5 seconds, and expect MNM to outright try and fully contest this. If they can pick up Soul, it's going to put a massive amount of pressure on NYYRIKKI. All of those additional stats, and of course the passive itself, going to be a bit of a nuisance to deal with. It's actually NYYRIKKI that started this one up, but
I'm moving down.
And then we're moving here.
Dangerous for NYYRIKKI to try and do, Flipper.
Oh, Calum over the wall.
Needs to be careful. Calum looking over the wall. Will be caught up by Abagnale. Going to turn this into a fight. Camille goes very, very low, but MNM are taking the fight to them. Aero just zoning them away with the ultimate as Banderas skips down, but won't be able to find any figures. It looks like NYYRIKKI are just going to be starting up the Dragon themselves, but Camaro diving forward, misses out on the charm. Aero needs to be careful. No ultimate available on the swing, remember. As Shredder's caught in the wrong place, wrong time, dives forward with the Xenoblade. Won't be able to get any real support as Camaro has to dance towards his tower, but that tower's no longer there. As NYYRIKKI can turn their attention back towards this Dragon. Soft is still hanging around.
Oh, I think they just about saw him.
I don't know, he's going to go invisible now and is going to dive forward, but there's 4 members of NYYRIKKI here. I don't know if Soft has actually got the ability to defend this. Abagnale goes over the wall, but he finds no one because they've already removed themselves and are back towards their own side of the map. Dragon will be secured by NYYRIKKI, and unfortunately, Jamada, you said 22 minutes Soul point.
MNM griefed. What can I say? We'll get a replay to highlight exactly what went wrong here. Calum tries to get over the wall, but immediately Abagnale responds. The Hextech Ultimatum didn't come down because it was just barely on cooldown. And if he had that, then he would have dodged down the dredge line, and maybe that fight goes a little more positively. But the Camille gets CC'd down. On the opposite side, Flipper does die, but the issue is you can see one by one MNM come over the wall, but Shredder just, zoned out by the Vision of Empires. And unfortunately, not able to join his mid laner and jungler. A bit of a head-scratching moment, definitely, if you are supporting the MNM side. But NYYRIKKI, massive win, being able to pick up that 3rd Dragon, ensure that they are not on that, pseudo, I won't say placebo, because it's not placebo, but that pseudo timer of, okay, guys, 5 minutes time, we have to have our stuff together. Otherwise, losing out on that soul point is going to make the game feel so sore beyond that. And now NYYRIKKI towards this Herald. They also have themselves almost a 2,000 gold lead. Going to be feeling pretty comfortable to start up, and MNM doesn't even seem like they are willing to contest it. Chimera's on the bottom side looking to maybe try and cross-map this.
Cross-map with that bot tower would be the solution that at least MNM have decided on, and it looks like they're going to be able to get a decent chunk. Banderas is going to go for the Krugs instead, so we'll let that tower go down, not interested in contesting it. And I mean, Rift Herald for that bottom tower is probably going to be worthwhile. It just depends on what NYYRIKKI and ultimately Flipper are going to be able to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. That second Herald, a little less valuable, typically, than that first one. Of course, the first one, on average, or should always net you 2 plates. The second Herald, that is, isn't necessarily always a guaranteed tower. So
Banderas in a bit of trouble here, going to be called up by Soft and Chimera, who dive forward trying to get onto the Gwen and should be able to secure the kill. Chimera, she goes very, very low, but survives and gets the Trump Rock to stay a little bit healthier. But it looks like in the mid lane, they're actually going to drop down that Rift Herald. I believe that's where it was dropped.
Yeah, I think this is 2 charges, unless Mishigu can somehow magically clear this one out, but they're going to be forced to the opposite side. Calum also can't quite respond yet.
Oh, this is really good from NYYRIKKI. Actually, they're playing exceptionally well on this one, and we'll be able to get that second charge moving up towards the top side. Could look to try and catch Calum on the engage as well, who uses the ultimatum. As Doggo super similar, actually will be secured by Shredder as they dive on through the Cataclysm to keep Soft out of the fight. But it looks like MNM have caught them, and napping going towards Aero, who's going to be able to heal. Has to flash away though, because the sustain wasn't enough for so many members. NYYRIKKI. It was, I don't know if it was an overstay because they got what they came for. I think they were just caught on the replay.
Yeah, I think what they were expecting was Soft. Yeah, I believe they had vision. Like Soft was rotating from the bottom side of the map. They had an inkling as to where Calum was. They probably just weren't expecting Calum to immediately go in on top of 3 people like that. And they just get pincered from multiple sides, unfortunately. But 2 towers for 1. Yes, they lose a couple of members on the, outing of it. You have to feel it's still kind of worse. This is what I was talking about. Not expecting Calum to come in on all 3. Calum jumps over Flipper, so he kind of just breaks his ankles a little bit. Azator dies, Abagnale left to the wolves. Flipper not able to be bursted down because Mishigu has to burst his first target through, and Aero forced to flash over the wall so he doesn't die. But honestly, I think how far in is he? I'm not sure if he had the demonic embrace. I would have maybe fancied my chances with Flipper coming back in just because I like to limit test like that. But Aero does the correct and sensible thing, flashes out. Because if he dies there, you would almost guarantee MNM probably look towards the Baron. Had just spawned up. That's what I was scared of, Soft.
Looking towards Banderas. We'll take the blast cone, and Shredder is there as well. It's a 2v1 onto the Gwen. He's going to get stunned up, taken out. And that'll be Soft securing the kill and the Gromp as well.
Yeah, still gets his jungle camp. Soft in. Good stuff. As Banderas just kind of caught lacking, really, in the enemy jungle. Just wants a couple more resources for himself. 041 has really been picked on by the MNM side, and reflected by the opposite side. Calum 512 has been a driving factor for MNM in terms of damage. Now, I feel like that number that we had in the pre-show could potentially be skewed by the fact that Mishigu and Shredder have been having a miserable time in the bottom side.
Yes.
But still, coming out ahead in the top side, MNM giving him a whole bunch of resources, and despite that, Mishigu doesn't really find himself that far behind Azator. Only 500 gold. Pretty much a parry almost when you think about where we are in the game, realistically. But NYYRIKKI will have first move towards this river, and we'll see how MNM want to approach it. And they still have Calum on the top side of teleport, and MNM are going to probably clear out the wave as high as they can, but NYYRIKKI, again, having those towers be down, can pressure from Fog of War. You can see where Abagnale is. Can maybe even look for a pincer potentially, but look to Chimera as well on the minimap.
I think you guys are Calum, because he's up on the top side, has that teleport available. Banderas, the same. The teleport's coming in from Kavil into Dragon Pit. It's going to be instantly responded to by Gwen, who could get caught out on the chompers, though. And Shredder's going to be standing on top. That could be a very dangerous position to be in as they go over the wall. So much damage onto Azator. He's already gone down. The damage coming from MNM is pretty decent. The members of NYYRIKKI, they're going golden to stay alive. Banderas needs to be careful. Gets minced through. They're going to grab Flipper as well. And NYYRIKKI in retreat. The members that are surviving, Abagnale and Aero, the only 2. As MNM will set themselves up for Dragon Soul.
That was a 4v5, Aero wasn't there. If he was in that mixer, I promise you, I think NYYRIKKI would have kind of stomped that fight out. It took MNM quite a while to burst down the members of NYYRIKKI there, but Azator was the first one to go, and if he's not in a position to return damage, and Mishigu is, that's a fight that MNM are almost certainly always going to win. They pick up the third dragon, and they're looking towards Baron. No reason not to. We'll get a replay of this team fight, and it's actually an attempted pick onto Chimera, who's looking for a pincer movement, looking for a flank. They can't lock him down. It's Banderas that gets locked down by the chompers, and Azator kind of gives Calum access to this fight where he finds a hook shot stun onto 2 more members, which disables them from being able to return any more damage. But crucially, again, like we spoke about, Aero just simply wasn't there, only able to provide the W. If he was inside that Cataclysm mixer, I promise, the damage that would have came out from that man would have been absurd at the 2-item spike. But unfortunately for NYYRIKKI, the Swain wasn't there, and MNM capitalized. They don't take the Baron in the replay.
They did not.
But I imagine stern words were had about whether or not they should have. But for now, with 4 minutes left until that soul spawns up, we're going to see a huge shift of pressure towards the top side, start to suffocate NYYRIKKI out of vision. And actually, I think we could be in for a pick, potentially, but with Flipper on the Gromp, Calum thinks about it, but they turn around.
They were considering it Soft, of course, in there as well, but Banderas and Flipper, while not necessarily the strongest individuals in the world, between the 2 of them have a decent amount of damage, a decent amount of control, and Abagnale gets onto Chimera with that dredge line, the damage coming from onto Shredder, who has to go to stay alive. Flipper might have overextended just a little bit, though. Takes a lot of damage and will be deleted, and that's the reset going on to Michigan, but he's caught out by the anchor. Members are there to defend him, though, and Abagnale is the only one who got backline access. Now Aero is in the fight with that ultimate. Michigan might have got a little bit too aggressive, but Aero's just standing strong. This is the damage that the Swain can put out, but does go down. MNM members burning, but do survive. Banderas.
Ooh, Calum died to the burn. The Leandries. I mean, this is what I was talking about. Swain is so powerful, honestly, as MNM, they're actually going to go for this mid lane tower a little bit too low, and they don't have the front liners to take this Baron. But Swain, if Aero can get, you know, a stop, if he had a stopwatch in that fight, oh my god. I think that would have spelled disaster for MNM for a team fight like that. So many bounties would have gone over. But it's MNM that went out on the fight. Replay up on the cards, and Chimera gets clipped by the Visions of Empire. Flash away from Chimera because he doesn't quite have the ultimate up and available. But just take a look at Flipper, because Flipper overcommits. All of the focus is on Shredder because he's the first target to be hit. But Flipper, once he goes forward, dies. Then all of a sudden, Abagnale kind of left to, well, try and dissuade the backline of moving forward for MNM. And Soft picks up the form, hooks the Swain into the middle of the team. Almost. Like I said, stopwatch, he just drains and gains so much health. I really want to see I would have loved to have seen Azonya's third here. I think it would have paid up so much dividends, but once the tanky stats has the anti-healing, I can understand wanting the Oblivion Orb, but you have to stay alive in these team fights. We'll see how Aero is able to navigate with this build. But MNM in control of the map for now. Only 3,000 up, but 2 minutes until that Infernal Soul spawns, but they're doing the correct thing. Just slowly choking NYYRIKKI the best they can out of the river. And they're going to actually advance forward and try and remove even more vision from their topside jungle.
For MNM, things have been looking pretty good. Our analysts tend to agree as well, looking at the momentum meter.
Oh, yes.
It's not actually trademarked.
It's used in the Prime League as well. Yeah.
I'll be getting a strongly worded letter from me there. They're lovely. Well, I haven't actually met them, so they could be lovely.
They're nice.
I'm sure they are. Have you met them?
A couple of them.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Never introduced themselves to me, but that's fine.
Oh, Soft.
Flipper. Looking towards Soft. Soft's there. I know what's going on, honestly. Neither did NYYRIKKI. It seems as they're going to back away from that one. Vigo, it would just intimidate them away.
I think Abagnale's dredge line might have intimidated Soft to walk away as well. 60 seconds, a little bit more than that, until this Infernal Dragon spawns up. And MNM are taking their resets to go and spend their gold. See what items get completed here. Not too much to realistically spend. But let's take a look at the items in general. 2 items for both these AD carries. Just across the board, realistically, it's actually matched. Pretty much, with the exception of the jungle where Flipper still looking towards the second item, actually going towards the Death Stance. Has the Gore Drinker as well, of course. Interesting that we see more of the Gore Drinker Jarvan whenever it does show up in this patch. Yeah. Definitely a little more rare, but we obviously saw more of a deviation towards full tank first strike as well towards the end of the last split. Seeing more of the Conqueror builds prop back up as 12-10 has come in whenever we see the Jarvan. But Calum will pick up this tower, has a teleport as well, so if he has gold to spend now to get towards that second item, which I'm pretty sure he does, he'll be able to spend that quite freely, but he just wants to pressure onto the NYYRIKKI base and try and force them into a decision, but no decision is being made other than we need to stop this dragon from going down on the opposite side. And this is just going to give him the tower entirely. Banderas isn't even teleporting because he's probably just going to lose the tower regardless, so he bases. The inhibitor could even have been at threat, maybe, but MNM now give over that dragon. They have the base open on the top side, so if they get Baron buff, that should, by all rights, as long as they take it quite cleanly, be that inhibitor as well. But NYYRIKKI now being chased down.
Looking for diving towards Abagnale. Doesn't manage to land the charm, but so much damage goes on the north side. He's really not that tanky. As Slimmerdine sort of trying the save. The teleport's coming through on both. Top laners as Soft gets the reset, goes over the wall onto Astor. He's completely out of the fight as Chimera dances around. The damage, though, is going on to Banderas. He's going to fall as Soft tries to escape, gets caught by the Vision of Empire and shut down by the Aphelios. Aero, though, doesn't have ultimate evade, remember, he's already blown it, and now will fall, gets charmed up. Nice Xenoblade going through from Shredder as they rip through NYYRIKKI. That's an ace for MNM Gaming, and they can move to the big purple worm.
They can indeed. No jungler, but I think that will still be the target for them. Great team fight from MNM. Soft does kind of overcommit for that form. He does get the reset in the end, and it works out. nonetheless. And I really felt like Aero and Madera's double teleporting in the backline would have spelled a lot of disaster because Mishigu was right on top of it. But you'll see the Chompers come in and he's able to kind of just self-peel alongside Shredder. Great job from the support to keep his AD carry alive, and also Chimera even comes back to try and offer some assistance. But you can see Soft just keeps Azator and Flipper at bay from diving. Yes, he dies for it, but it allows the rest of his team to deal with those backline threats. As Hero, nowhere else to run, gets charmed up, and then great flash forward from Shredder. And this is what we wanted to see. Ever since we saw Shredder on the Nautilus, we've wanted to see him on these engage supports, and finally we get to see that. And there's been a lot of conversation around MNM in terms of identity, team identity in particular. And it feels like, to me, this is the kind of identity that seems to work. Even though, yes, you can argue a weaker opponent in the standings, yes. This looks like
than they are in the standings at the moment.
Well, in the grand scheme of things are weaker, but stronger than they were, right? I think most people would have had NYYRIKKI down to win this as Flipper.
Flipper goes through and goes down. Chimera, excellent catch.
Yeah, great catch, and they're actually just going to turn this into outright rotation because Caleb
so low.
Whoa.
Golden, though. I think he's going to fall because the tower's going to hit onto him.
Dead.
Soft takes up the tower aggro, though. Nice job going through from Chimera as Abagnale. The shield is enough. They managed to get away with all of their members standing and just about get the kill onto Camille at the end. Excellent play there from MNM, chasing away NYYRIKKI as they take down the tower as well.
Great stuff. I mean, Caleb just dies to the Death Stance bleed. Honestly, that was the only enemy to that play for him. But they still pick up that bottom side tower, and they're going to be able to push. And one of the main engagers is dead for another couple of seconds. No armor from Abagnale, so they can just sit here with these kind of minions and just try and let them shove out. They will eventually be taken down by NYYRIKKI. Get a decent chunk of that bottom side tower, but MNM, crucially, there was no wave on the top side, so they haven't been able to abuse the fact that Kalen was able to break open the base recently. Not only that, as they reset with another 90 seconds left on this Baron buff, I imagine, I mean, they can play towards the top side, but when they have soul spawning maybe 15 seconds after the fact, expect them to just immediately bolt back towards the mid lane, bolt back towards the bottom side, because it looks like actually Mishigu, whilst he was focusing on the bottom side play, was able to crack open the base yet again.
Managed to grab himself a tower in the mid lane, so there's two open inhibitors. Neither inhibitor has fallen, which is very, very notable because it means that getting rid of those side waves is a little bit easier because there are no super minions out of the front with their shields and their hammers and doing all the stuff. But for Mishigu, the Jinx, 3-0-13, feels a little bad.
Yeah, it feels a little bad. It has a stopwatch as well, so it's going to be even harder to take down. I think by the time this next dragon comes up, the flash is going to be very close to being available.
Yes.
But I also want to, you know, raise my attention to, or everybody's attention. Something. Well, I'm not going to be able to.
They're not interested. Managed to get the Dreadline onto Mishigu, who's going to be knocked up in the air, but no one's going to be able to get onto him. Flipper finally manages to go golden, and the damage from NYYRIKKI is pretty mad. They're going to be able to take down the Jinx for the double. And now Sovereign Shredder will be going over into the Dragon Pit, but that could be the pick that NYYRIKKI desperately needed.
Not only that, that was two huge shutdowns that just went over. I think it was a 900 on Chimera and something very similar on Mishigu. Just overstepping their bounds. They felt like they had enough vision and safety to make that rotation work, but NYYRIKKI were waiting in the wings. And there was not enough time for MNM to respond to that one appropriately.
They won't be up for Dragon.
And they're not going to be up for Dragon, no. So I think this is now going to be NYYRIKKI's Dragon, and it's going to bring the game to, I won't say a stalemate, but a position where both these teams winning that next Dragon fight after this will mean so. As NYYRIKKI are even going to be able to pick up an objective bounty on the bottom side of the map. That is a huge injection of gold.
Well.
And the Dragon, yeah, it looks like the objective bounties aren't swinging off just yet. They are far enough behind. So a lot of additional gold swing goes into the back pocket of NYYRIKKI, and this was talking about, thank you, observers, for hovering the vision. But on the opposite side, it's just, yeah, it's just a quick go button. It's the blast cone from the Infernal Rift that gives Banderas access, and the rest of NYYRIKKI are able to follow up. Great Cataclysm from Flipper. This is the time when you want to go in, when your members of the team can actually follow up. And finally, we get a good engage from the Jarvan, and the rest of the team are able to cut down those carries. That Dragon was picked up in the replay by NYYRIKKI. And now we are at soul point apiece. And what I wanted to, you know, bring our attention to was if NYYRIKKI's at home watching the NLC, which I'm not sure how busy he is today. Maybe
make sure they use the Twitter handle hashtag NLC at home.
Yes, of course. Don't forget that. Probably very happy with Chimera's build. Luden Sork Boots has a book, crucially. Full damage for Chimera. Ooh, go, go, go. Just something I wanted to highlight. Shout out to NYYRIKKI, as always. Resident Ari lover.
Hear me out. I spawned Gauntlet into Gargoyle Stoneplate.
For?
Anyone.
Why?
It's funny, innit? It's big.
What is this?
It's large.
Don't like you. Honestly.
Not okay. Not anyone. Not like you, me. Obviously, that'd be stupid. But like, you know, have you tried it on Ari? Because if you haven't tried
You're trying to summon him. He's gonna just appear behind us in a minute.
We locked the studio.
If you want to summon, NYYRIKKI, by the way, just say Ari of Lucidity Boots 3 times in the mirror.
You know what? You might need a Merc Treads though, because he's been removed by Azator. This fight doesn't look like it's kicking off any further, but a nice pickup. Chimera goes down, and
It's a lengthy death timer.
yeah, I mean, Baron's going to be up in 25 seconds.
Yeah, that's a really big pick. And MNM all of a sudden haven't really been able to, you know, leverage a lot of the tempo, the map lead that they've had for a little while. And NYYRIKKI have done a really great job of breaking up that tempo, catching out these rotations. Very close to finding his mark there. That flash, but will be blown. Mishigu still has his own flash, has the Gale Force.
They're just going to push into the base.
There go. Oh boy. Oh boy, do they have a wave in the mid lane?
I do think they have a couple of minions there. The thing is, Astor doesn't have the right guns to do this particularly quickly, so the Baron is being taken down pretty slowly. Kalim goes on top of Banderas, who's the only member defending right now. They've sent back Aero, as Banderas will buy a little bit more time with that stopwatch. Damage coming on through as Zero just burning through Kalim's health bar. He's gonna go down. You've got to imagine Resurrects though, because he has got that Guardian Angel, not caught out with a claw. Still mistimed a little bit by Aero. Now Banderas moving forward. Baron will secure, so the wrinkles have come through as MNM needs to be careful. They're burning, but they managed to get out as 4, it would appear, but they're going to be chased away inch by NYYRIKKI. He will also clear out the minion way. Bandera steps forward, doesn't manage to get the red buff, but MNM get themselves an inhibitor but lose Baron. That doesn't seem super worth it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that Baron is going to persist over the Dragon Spawn, so the stats are still going to be there. They're still going to be able to, you know, use this Baron to potentially siege for the next couple of minutes before that Dragon as well, give them lane priority.
Oh, Chimera goes looking towards Banderas.
Great stuff. I mean, nice pick, shot down. I'm not sure how much it's going to get him. Obviously, that was a fair amount of gold. He's going to have to spend it. A nice little pick. Did blow both his summoners. That could be crucial. I don't know how much I agree with a pick like this. It's one of those things where, you know, the trade-off of, you know, expending your stuff now against having it at the later Dragon team fight.
His summoners would be up earlier if he had Lucidity Boots.
You are one more mention of Lucidity Boots Ari away from NYYRIKKI just yoinking the mic from
Maybe I want to see NYYRIKKI. Maybe I want him to turn up.
I wouldn't mind. Haven't seen him since last week.
I haven't seen him since EUM, actually. You know?
Yeah, there you go. It's been a long time.
Did I tell you about the time I cast EUM semi-finals?
Okay, nice. Nice flex, bro. But MNM, even though they are against the Baron buff, find themselves with lane priority and control of the bottom side jungle, and the approach for NYYRIKKI is going to be that of In Darkness. That's 40 seconds until that spawns up.
This is the end of the game, right?
It has to be.
Whoever gets this dragon,
It has to
unless
be.
they get wiped out in the fight that happens either before or just after it, you've got to imagine they go on to win this game. This game has been on a knife's edge for so long, 38 minutes already. As Mishigu is going to be able to get the slow onto Era. That could be a good target to catch out, actually. The Swain, but are just going to chase them back a little bit. The Baron buff is still running onto NYYRIKKI's members, so they're going to have a couple more combat stats for this Dragon. Spawning up in 10 seconds' time, but MNM do have control over the river entrances. Not going to let anyone from NYYRIKKI go through. Soft goes forward, but might have been caught out a little bit. Banderas goes in. Chimera's going to dive back forward, though, and half on the win could be massive. Soft goes low, chased away, dives away. Has to be resurrecting, though, as heal was also used. And now NYYRIKKI, they're going to float forward with Era at the vanguard, diving forward from Flimmer, but they can't find anything just yet. Soft has been flanking away, though, as Mishigu is free-firing, going towards Abagnale, looking for another. Will be able to find it. The reset's coming through as well. Banderas does
My God, that's a top.
Soft going forward and will be able to get onto Arrow. The resurrection coming through from Chimera, but it doesn't matter because Azator is ripping them to shreds. Triple kill from Aphelios, looking for the dragon, and that could be it. Teleport topside.
Oh my God, it's a monumental throw. They're fighting on top of the Aphelios turret, and it's giving Azator so much damage. The death timers are still there. They won. They've got the game.
NYYRIKKI are going to win this game. And MNM. We said, we were like, they're so good early game. This is what we want to see. But you know what is a crucial part of the MNM playbook this season? Throwing away the early game as NYYRIKKI take down both towers and the Nexus. Finland triumph, Jamada.
Well played, NYYRIKKI, honestly.